Hey everyone, this is Carlo Larasso from Secrets of Home Theater and High Fidelity, and Italian speaker manufacturer Sonus Faber let a very big cat out of the bag recently at CES in Las Vegas, where they released a brand new flagship loudspeaker system, to be more precise, called the Sonus Faber Suprema, and it created quite a stir and made a big impression, from what we can tell, on everyone that attended the show. And I mean, I think it's fair to say, caught most people by complete surprise. I asked if I could maybe get a little more information about the Suprema to share with you all, and Sonus Faber was so kind to hook me up with Livio Cucuzza, the head design honcho and Suprema himself of of Sonus Faber. And so, Livio, thank you so much for agreeing to chat about this and maybe go into a little more detail about the Suprema that we could share with our audience.
Thank you for having me here.
Hey, not a problem. Anytime, anytime. I wish I had a cappuccino and some espresso I could share with you or something, but that's not possible.
Well, I'm in New York in this moment, so to have the best espresso, you have to visit us in Italy.
Yes, you are absolutely right. I remember. We have to do that again. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so I guess to start, images of the Suprema, like, wow. I mean, it's very, very impressive and beautiful looking system.
Thank you.
You know, congratulations and props to you and the whole Sonus Faber design team for coming up with it. I mean, it looks absolutely amazing. How long has the Suprema been in development?
So, to make the story very short, 3 years. But the reality is that we have been working on this project for a little bit more than 3 years, because the reason why we did the project is because we had a big renovation in the R&D department around 4 or 5 years ago, and we hired new engineers. We have we have new toolings, new software, and now the team is a big R&D team, and
Oh, wow.
and we had a lot of new ideas about new technologies, and so we decided to express all this new know-how in a no compromise package, and this is why we decided to go ahead with Suprema.
Okay, well, so 3 years. So basically just after, I think I visited you guys actually about 3 years ago. So just after that, then this whole sort of project came on the books then.
Exactly. We were just about to start because the process that was the longest one was to design every driver from scratch. Because one of the goal of this project was not to do just the most expensive and most ambitious speaker, was to create all the technology that will drive our next development in the following years.
Wow,
So
okay.
the one we had to design all the new drivers, the new enclosure, and that process is a long process if you want to start from scratch and not from available
Absolutely.
solutions.
So basically, every part of the Suprema then system is all in-house. Then there's no farming out from like other suppliers for drivers and things. Everything is more or less designed in-house.
Everything is designed in house. Then, when we had the designs fixed, we went to our classic suppliers plus
Hmm.
some new ones, and we did a sort of we did a sort of selection based on the result on prototypes they made. And we assigned the manufacturing to each individual supplier. So all the design is made by us, but of course the assembly of the drivers is still outsourced.
Right, but the design of the drivers basically is all you guys. You're not using any like off the shelf off-the-shelf drivers or asking someone to modify an existing driver. You guys basically, it's a clean sheet of paper, basically, huh?
Yeah, everything was designed from scratch, except, to be completely precise, a suspension that was available in one of the catalog of our supplier, which
Okay.
matches exactly what we wanted. But the rest of it is completely new.
Everything's a tiny little suspension. Okay, well, that's well, we'll give you that.
Just to
We'll
be
give you that.
honest.
That's okay. No, hey, that's very good. It's very transparency. It's very important. It's very good and very good. So basically, it's like a showcase then of it's like a giant showcase then of what Sonus Faber can do. I mean,
yeah, the idea here is that I think hi-fi in general, the high-end and hi-fi gravitate in the last 20 years around the same basic concept of having these super refined drivers that were able to create amazing illusions, but sometimes they were not able to produce the right sound pressure if you compare them with the pro audio systems, for example.
Okay.
And so the ambition here was to create a system that was able to do basically both grace and brutal power.
Okay.
And the reason why we decided to go that way is because the head of research in Sonus Faber, Mario, is coming from that experience. He's coming from the pro audio world.
Audio side. Okay.
And I think you met Mario at at dinner. You know, when you are familiar with that kind of monster drivers with huge magnet circuit and big voice coils and everything like that, the drivers we normally use in the hi-fi world are toys.
It's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
So I said to him, let's try to find a way to merge the two worlds where they can have an overlap, and so let's try to do something new, something that nobody tried before. And so this is the reason why we had to redesign basically everything to accomplish this new high standard that we required.
So actually, basically, I like how you phrase that, the combination of grace and brutal power together in one. That's very cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, the first impression you got just by looking at the design is very organic in inspiration. The basic lute shape to begin with, but then just the curves and the not really much in the way of angles, but the angles and the curves kind of blend together. It just strikes me as very organic. And is that can you kind of speak to that a little bit? Is what the design influence and where that came from for the Suprema?
Sure. First of all, we have to start from the main concept which drives Suprema, which was again to reach a certain performance. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want to design a beautiful sculpture that also can produce sound. We wanted to have the performance first, and then to design. And then to design the product following the request of the performance.
Okay.
Fortunately, we had in Sonus Faber this tradition of different use of different materials and different shapes. And so, for example, the inspiration for the main column was the lute shape. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because it's the best shape for us to make the speaker disappear. And the main column was designed to be responsible for the voice and the upper mid bass. So we wanted to have a shape that can really disappear in your listening room. Okay. On the other side, on the bass, we know that we knew from our history that the elliptical shape of the Stradivari was the best the best in terms of efficiency of the bass to have wall of sound kind of presentation. And so we combined the two, staying close to the history of the brand. And I think the result was satisfying the promise of performances. And so we went that way. The other important element is that we wanted from the beginning this very strong performance, and when we did the first test, there was no way, in our opinion, to obtain the level of grace we talked before, which Faber is known for, having the two big 15 inches woofer
combined in the tower, basically.
in the tower.
Okay.
The level of vibration was really too much, and
Okay.
the request of volume of those two monsters was too high. Just to give you an example, one of those 15-inch driver has the potential in his motor to lift up to 70 kilos, which is a little bit more than me. So
All right.
if you want to handle really, if you want to transmit that power to the listener, we thought what would be better to separate the subwoofer boxes, also because it's very difficult to obtain a no compromise performance in a room if you don't have the possibility to move the bass column in the right position.
Right.
The two subwoofers were designed to go down to 15 hertz or 16. And if you don't place them in the right spot, you will never hear that frequencies. So again, the performance we wanted to obtain really drive the design of the product.
So definitely more of a form followed the function than this time
Absolutely.
around. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that actually answers my next question, because it's like I've never seen from a major speaker manufacturer, you don't really see a flagship 2.1 or 2.2 system. I mean, it doesn't happen in the pro world. Like, what you're saying, it happens, but so this is like, from my perspective, it's like a very radical departure. So I mean,
it was a bit of a risk, because when I first introduced the concept to our sales network, they all said, "Oh, 4 channels, four columns, nobody will buy them. It's too complicated. They require too much space, and blah blah blah." But again, we said we want to do a declaration of intent to the Wi-Fi world with this product, and I don't care about the sales perspective. I want to do the best system possible.
I can appreciate that, and I mean, well, honestly, for what the system represents and the level you guys are shooting at, I don't anyone who's seriously considering buying the system more than likely has the space and the means to set it up properly and get the best out of it. So it's kind of like, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of a worry for anyone who's interested. Yeah, for sure.
No, we didn't have that. We didn't have any complaint at the end during the presentation about that.
I don't think so. I saw the video of the presentation. It's kind of like, I didn't see anybody complaining.
No.
People are pretty like, wow. Oh man. So yeah, no, really, really, really cool. And I'm excited. I'm a big fan of subwoofer systems, 2.1, 2.2 channel systems. So this is awesome. Good job. Good job.
Thank you very much.
So I guess maybe going into the technical aspects in a little more detail. Obviously, the tower has that famous voice of Sonus faber module there, but this time, I mean, anytime I've always seen it before in the past, it's always had 2 drivers, and now it's got 3. So what's with the 3 drivers?
Many things. First of all, everything started from the design of this new mid-range that we call Camellia.
Okay.
It has a lot of new things inside. First of all, as you can see, the membrane is not circular anymore. We have these 5 cuts, which are helping us to have a better response.
So when you say that, when you say the cuts, does that mean there's like an actual like gap or hole between in those little sort of openings?
Yeah,
I guess those actual
yeah,
openings then.
exactly. The
Oh, okay.
membrane is completely exposed because the suspension, which is the suspension we were talking
Right, right,
before,
right.
the suspension is glued on the back, which is not a new thing. Many driver manufacturers are doing that, but in this case, the membrane is going completely exposed, and
Hmm.
in the radius of the cone, you will find cuts that makes the cone not circular but interrupted in some way.
Hmm.
This is helping us to eliminate this radial vibration pattern that engineers are talking about. And
Oh, okay.
we have proof of that. We made the comparison. We have less distortion, and we have a much cleaner mid-high response on the mid-range. Plus, this mid-range has a dual drive motor,
Hmm.
which is the first of its kind. Nobody did this before. The dual drive technology was always applied before to control the movement of big woofers.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
um, JBL was the first of
Right,
using
right.
technology, but we are the first on using this technology on mid-range,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
which can appear a strange move because it's a technology used where when you want to have a lot of control.
Hmm.
But again, we wanted to improve any aspect of the sound reproduction, and when we did the first test using this dual drive technology on the mid range, we heard a lot more information coming through it.
Okay.
More dynamic, and the resolution was amazing from the first test. So
Outstanding.
we decided to incorporate that technology, which is very difficult to obtain on a very light coils. So it's not something that all the manufacturers can achieve. Plus, the voice coil is made out of titanium, which was, in our opinion, the best way to transmit.
That's
Uh,
different.
yes, to transmit the information to the membrane, and also we wanted to in some way limit the range of operation of this mid-range to preserve all these resolution it
All
has.
those benefits, right?
So this is the reason why we have also mid bass on the that we call the link driver between the four
Right.
woof.
That 8-inch
And,
transition bass driver. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
regarding the two tweeters, the reason why we did that is that from the beginning, our target was to reach 40 kilohertz,
Hmm.
and it was difficult to reach that level of frequency with a soft dome tweeter, because one of our pillar is that we believe in natural materials, so we didn't want to use beryllium or aluminum.
Hmm.
We want to stay with silk, and the only way to preserve again the grace of that technology without losing extension was to split them in two.
I
So
see. Okay.
we created a mid tweeter, which is a big dome, and then a smaller one, which is really a super tweeter. I think it goes up to 38 or 40 something kilohertz.
These are both
Um,
still soft domes then.
and they are both soft domes.
Oh,
Yes,
wow. Okay.
yes. Also, the decision to go with a bigger dome between the super tweeter and the mid range is coming from an experience we did in the last years with these big dome mid ranges. So we tried to join the best of the two worlds. So
Gotcha.
a mid-range con plus a mid-range tweeter dome to have the smoother and more natural sound reproduction possible.
Gotcha. Okay. And there was something I saw in I think in the CES unveiling video. You were holding like what looked like some sort of, well, it looked like a hockey mask, but it was basically like a sub enclosure inside made of cork. Is that right? I mean, so that's like a sub enclosure for the voice of Sonus Faber module. Is that right?
Yes. So this is one of the things that we will introduce and we will use in the next Sonus Faber products. Yeah. As you know, we believe that natural sound deliver natural materials deliver natural sound. Plus, we believe that natural shapes or organic shapes are delivering a more natural, more pleasant sound reproduction. So that Sonus Faber was the inventor of the lute shape.
Right.
But in the lute shape, normally you have two sides of the cabinet which are non-parallel. Plus, you have two sides, the top and bottom, which are still parallel. So
right.
For this new mid-range, we wanted to create something that is completely organic.
So no parallel surfaces of any kind at all, and probably breaking up some of the surfaces inside there as well, I would imagine.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we designed the perfect, what we believe was the perfect shape by using computer simulators. And then we had the problem to create it with natural materials, because it's easy if you can use plastic, but it's not our case.
Right.
Or if you want to use like carbon fiber, which again is not our case, especially for mid-range. So we went in search of a material able to be formed in any kind of shape. And
one day over lunch at the local winery, someone opened up a bottle of red wine. It's like
something very similar. something very, very similar to that, because I was walking in one of these showrooms, and there was a big Lego brick made out of cork.
Oh, wow.
And was a sort of like exposition element. And I asked it to the owner of the gallery of the showroom, who is producing that, and he said, "Oh well, we have a company in Portugal, which is actually the biggest manufacturers for wine cups."
Port, right, in Portugal. Yeah.
Portugal, of course, is famous. So what they are doing, they are buying back all the cups, the used cups. They are transforming the cups in this grain, and then they are using the natural resin of the cork to make to be able to inject cork and resin in molds, and so they can basically create any shape you want.
So do they mold? They're molding it. They're not like they can't 3D print it. That has to be like they have to make molds of it, basically, right?
Yeah. The reason why we like the idea is that it's sustainable, because it's coming out of a process of recycling goods. Cork is completely natural. It has beautiful properties because it's waterproof, it's fireproof, and probably you saw it before, but in many recording studios, they are using cork to damp reflection.
The reflections, right? Very true. Very true.
So
Huh.
it's a material that has a very great pedigree in acoustic properties. So when we did the first test and we milled a block of this material to do the test, and we tried a driver inside this enclosure, we also discovered that the enclosure, because of the material, require a lot less damping material, because the material itself it's already damping
Okay.
the
Okay.
sound inside. So we did all the tests, all the simulation. We did real life experiments, and we discovered that for mid range and mid high frequency, cork is great, and so we decided to go that way.
Yeah. All right.
We have now another project which is using cork in a more ambitious way. This will come out at probably the end of 24.
You're building a whole speaker out of cork.
Something similar. Something similar.
You
We are
heard it here
trying.
first. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh man.
Yeah, we are trying to challenge the limits of the material to understand where we can go. But I'm really proud of these cork enclosure, because we are the first doing a speaker out of cork.
It's very cool. I mean, the whole idea behind it's very. I mean, it's ingenious and it makes sense, and I like the whole molding aspect of it too, because it's a very old world classic production method as opposed to like everything being 3D printed these days. So I mean that's very cool. After that, no, you already mentioned the mid or bridge woofer that it transitions to. So then we have four 8-inch woofers, two above and two below. So is there anything special about how they're configured? I mean, I know in some speakers, especially like ones that are sort of a similar configuration, the woofers are sort of designed to help control the reflections off the floor and the ceiling. Is something similar happening here as well, or something different?
Yes, of course, the placement of the woofers was studied to control the reflections you have from the ceiling and from the floor. But the main reason why we are using those woofers is because as I said before, with the main column, we wanted to achieve the best reproduction of mid bass and the first portion of the bass.
Okay.
So we needed a very fast unit.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need a very extended woofer, because we wanted to have the bass in a separate column. So
Right.
the four 8 inches were designed to be impactful and fast.
So kind of in that power band there, that sort of upper bass power band,
Yeah,
where you get a lot of.
the
Sorry, go ahead.
100 hertz, famous 100 hertz, where you have the punch and the impact. This is the reason why we decided to go sealed and small drivers instead of big ones, to have these slam, these super fast impact. Yeah, and we designed them with the same technology we used for the Amati and Stradivari, so they are dual drive with sandwich paper membrane. At that point, the only limit was to merge them with the mid-range, and so that we developed this 8-inch link driver.
Very cool. Very cool. And with like 8-inch bass drivers like that, I mean, I'm sure the distortion is like incredibly low, and for the output that it gives you. So yeah, that's very cool. Well, so now going from the towers and bridging to the subwoofers, is there a fixed crossover point, or is the crossover point selectable or adjustable depending on how they're placed in the room? How does that work?
Again, if we start from the original concept, we wanted to have a very versatile system to be adapted to any kind of environment. But at the same time, we didn't want to have an amplifier inside the speaker, because that's a choice that the customer has to do
Okay.
based on his tastes.
So no amplifier inside the subwoofer at all. The subwoofers are passive.
Subwoofers are passive.
Okay.
We didn't want to use any Class D or high power module to power them.
Okay.
The customer will decide. The subwoofers themselves, they are pretty sensitive, so they don't need a ton of power. We used 2000 watt at the demonstration in Vegas.
It's not a ton of power. No, it's just like,
yeah, but during the demonstration, many listeners noticed that on the meters of the amplifier, we were
right.
using 200 watts maximum.
Right. No, that makes sense. I'm just being silly.
15 inches, they can be very, very, very sensitive. So we wanted to have separate amplifiers for them, and so that at that point the only way for us to go was to design an active external crossover to control the system.
Mm-hmm.
But since we know that unit will go in the middle between a preamplifier and a power amplifier,
mm-hmm.
for sure those two elements will be the best of the best because of the price tag of the system.
Makes sense, right?
We didn't want to have any DSP or any digital conversion, ADC or DAC. There is nothing inside that. We wanted to go, let me say, old-fashioned.
Purely analog, yeah.
Pure analog, discrete components, a true balanced circuit with external power supply. So everything was made to be, let me say, full respectful of the original audio signal.
Gotcha.
On the crossover box, you have the possibility to adjust the low pass.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With two different low pass circuits, so you can create also a dual slope if you want.
Oh, okay. So,
which is a nice feature. In Vegas, this was very helpful.
Okay.
Plus, you have of course a phase shift from 0 to 180. Then you have the volume control of the level control of the two woofers.
Mm-hmm.
All these controls are separate, so you can tune the two subwoofers in different ways if the room requires that. Plus, you have an iPass, which is an optional module. So, for example, in Vegas, we didn't use it. Mm-hmm. So the preamplifier was going directly to the amplifier of the main columns without passing through the crossover.
Okay.
But if someone wants to really drive the system to the maximum SPL without damaging the 4/8" on the main columns, he can
high pass those and then gotcha.
Cut the main column and protect the main column from any overpower.
So in Vegas, you were running the columns full range and then using the subwoofers to where the natural roll off would be.
Exactly.
And extending that the rest of the way. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. The natural roll off of the main column is at 40 hertz.
Okay.
And since it's a sealed box, is a second order natural.
Right. Nice gradual. Yep.
Yeah. So it's also pretty easy to do the sum with the woofer because they already go pretty low. So we in Vegas, I think we used a crossover point of 50 hertz. So we had a bit of overlap.
Okay.
But just because the room was big, and we were very lucky, to be honest with you, because when we placed the four speakers, the main columns plus the sub created a perfect sum frequency response.
Wow,
so
okay.
It was in phase. We just needed to adjust the timing of the subwoofer with the main column. So it's a very versatile system. It's ambitious to say it's an easy system to set up, but in the reality, when you have separated subwoofers, setup process, it's a lot easier than when you have.
It's not that much more difficult than setting up a basic home theater system. So I mean, it's like you're dealing with placing subwoofer at least one, possibly two or more subwoofers. And I mean, if you're at least at all kind of used to doing something like that, then I mean, it's not that much different. And you're just not setting up any surround speakers. You're just working to get the blend right. So I was going to say is the bass from the subwoofers, is that in stereo, or is it summed into mono, or just
No.
selectable?
So they are inside the crossover, the electronic crossover. We have two identical boards, so it's a complete dual mono stereo crossover network.
Okay.
Then we have a switch on the back to do the mono sum of the two.
Okay.
Because the system, you can buy the system also in a 2.1 configuration.
Right.
And in that case, you need a mono output.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
What I was about to say is that about the configuration. Of course, we know that a system like that, like this, is not just a simple product. It has to be a full experience. So what we include in the price tag of Suprema is also the setup in the house of the customer. So
okay.
we will help the customer and the dealer to do the final setup. And I think this is needed at this level of
most likely, yeah. If someone's going to invest in such a system, then yeah, that's a nice little perk to have a professional setup to make sure everything is like sounding as good as it could be. Yeah, that makes sense. Would you guys ever consider doing something like this, but as a fully active system with DSP at some point down the road? I mean, probably not as a flagship system, but as something trickle down from that, or is that no mas?
Well, we are considering the idea of using active amplification in our system, because after the experience we made with the small duetto,
Yeah.
We believe we found a way to do crossover in the digital domain, which are very similar in terms of acoustic response to what we are doing passively.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know that the possibility when you have an amplified system are bigger than a classic passive system. What I really don't want to do is to let's say ruin the audiophile game.
Right. That's
Because I'm coming from that world. I was an audiophile before, Sonus Faber, and I know that our favorite game is to change amplifiers and cables and listen to the differences
and everything. Yep. Oh yeah.
So I'm not really a fan of closed packages. So if we can, we want to create systems that are really versatile, and we want to give the customer the possibility to play with them and to have fun.
That's part of it too. Having enjoying your system, having fun with it, and personalizing it however you want. I mean, that's part of the experience.
Exactly. We always say that listening to music is the number one purpose of this system, which is true. Of course, music is the first, and I believe that more music in this world is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be honest with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We love the gears. We love
it's a bit of a balancing act. Yeah, it's a bit of both. You know,
if it was only for the music, you don't need all these.
you could listen. You could listen to a little Bluetooth speaker and just be like, and drink your coffee and be happy. But it's not. The gear is part of it too. And anyone who says it isn't is like, no, 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 no. Yeah.
No, exactly. When I hear audiophile says that oh no, I'm not interested in the amplifiers. For me, music is the only thing. Well,
Yeah.
I it's true. Uh, and there is nothing bad about it. I mean, if you do the comparison on other luxury goods, like for example watches,
Yeah.
we all of us can read the time on the smartphones,
Oh
but
yeah. Yeah.
we are still buying expensive watches, right?
Apple Watch on one hand, Omega on the other. It's like, yeah,
Here
yeah,
we go.
yeah,
Here we go. Or
yeah.
or supercars. I mean, not all the owners of supercars are pilots.
Right, right. Yeah.
So we need to be honest with ourselves. We are buying expensive toys just for the pleasure to play with them, and so to answer your question, we want to expand our line of products also with active solution without removing the joy of playing.
That's a good. That's the best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned. That's great. That makes total sense. Um, so I guess for this level of a system, I'm sure there's got to be, like you were saying, obviously you guys offer the custom installation in the house and the tuning and everything. Is there like like on some, you were talking, expensive cars and stuff. Is there more sort of opportunity for customization with the Suprema, not just the wood, but choices, but other things as well?
Yeah, Suprema will start a new program of customization for us.
Hmm.
The customers of Suprema will be invited to stay 3 days with us in Italy.
Oh, geez, let me get my checkbook out right now. I'm going to write you a check. No, sorry, just kidding.
It's a very inexpensive way to go to Italy, It's
Works for me. Yeah, my wife might divorce me, but otherwise it's okay.
no, but really, we want to open our design office to customers, and we really want to spend hours with them in designing the speakers with them.
Hmm.
The idea is to have them in the factory for 3 days, where they can
Nice.
do listening, they can do learning.
Hmm.
So we will explain them how we designed the system and how the system is working. Plus, the possibility to spend one day with the designers and choose between wood options, aluminum options, leather options,
Oh, okay.
the carbon fiber grain,
Mm.
everything that is not impacting the performance, of course, can be
Hmm.
customized.
Wow. Okay. So it's the full. Basically, it's the full experience. Then it's the real full experience.
Yes, plus
Wow.
Italian food and everything related to that.
Outstanding. Oh my gosh. Where do I sign up? That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I guess sort of my last question is, now I know you said with the design of the Supreme, basically this was more of a form follows function um, sort of exercise, but will we see any of the design from the Suprema sort of trickle down in the future in other like upcoming Sonus Faber products?
Yes, the first product which will benefit from Suprema will be announced in Munich
Oh, okay.
this year, and the main benefits will be the new mid-range with a simplified motor but the same membrane,
Hmm.
the cork enclosure for the mid-range, and some solution in the passive crossover. And then, as I said to you, the at the end of the year, we will have maybe sooner than that, but we will have a product which is an important product for Sonus Faber because it was a great success in the past for us. So it's a re-edition of something we did in the past, which will use cork massively.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. So Munich, and then something else later on in the year. Wow. Okay. Very neat. Very neat. Oh, awesome. Well, looking forward to this. Can't. It's very very exciting stuff. You guys are busy, obviously. Very busy.
Very busy, but it's a natural process. When you have a group of people, we are like 14 now in the R&D department, which are also which are engineers, but also audio enthusiasts.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a natural process to have more ideas on the table than
capability to generate them all or follow them all. Yeah. Right. Right.
exactly. So it's just a matter of deciding the priorities.
Mm-hmm.
But we have tons of ideas for the future.
Fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, well, like I said, I can't wait to see what else comes down the pipe from you guys. So yeah, that pretty much I think covers everything. And for some reason my camera is making me very blurry, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, oh, there we go. I'm in focus. Okay, there. Livio, it's so great to see you, sir. Thank you so much for the time and for walking us through the new Suprema, and and giving us kind of a little bit of a insight of what to look forward to down through the rest of the year, sir. I really really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate the curiosity, which is one of the best.
Oh, we are always curious around here. Probably too curious for our own good, actually.